All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's a bit of a fly-by-night and by the seat of your pants show, but I got coffee. I've got topics. I got everything but my open mic set up. But we'll see if I get that going during the show. But that's the show. Let's get it going. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night. Yes, good morning. Stop the music. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel on this Friday, the 24th of June, 2022, the 850th episode of the Morning Night Live. So today I kind of wanted to talk about court decisions. I was going to do an open mic, and I still may if I can figure out how to do this. I realized I should have been on my... I should have did this in StreamYards, but I already started the show, so I'm going to open a window and hopefully it doesn't slow down my computer so much that I can't function. But I'll do that later in the show because I'm going to go through a little bit about things that happened yesterday, things that may be happening today, and if I have time, then I'll open a mic up and let you jump in if you'd like to. It's up to you. You don't have to. I can certainly fend for myself talking just incessantly by myself. But anyway, welcome. I'm happy you're here. And let's say good morning to the people who've already made it to the chat, which is, I'm going to expand this so maybe I can make... Yes, that makes things easier there. Okay, so first in the chat today is our friend Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. Thank you, sir, for being here. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Also, good morning, Mike Savage Blarg. Zach to the Future's in the house. Attack Alpaca, Tyre Alexander. Black Huber is you like.
That's right.
Also, Lord Stanhope's here early, bright and shiny. Also, good morning. I said Attack Alpaca. How about Trippy Liberty? What's up, my man? Nice to see you, my friend. Also, good morning. Just as a Rotten Corpse, what's her name? Tyler F. And D.I. Freighter Watcher. And is that everybody? I mean, there's only like 15 people, so I think might have said everybody. If I haven't said your name, Lord Stanhope. I think I might have said that too. Okay, we're good. Anyway, share the stream because that's how we get more people. Obviously, the notifications just went out 10 minutes ago, so they will just went out 10 minutes ago. So, it takes a while on YouTube for people to figure out the notifications went out, and also, but what you can do, you can share the stream on your favorite social media by clicking that share arrow down there. Did I share the stream this morning? I think I did. Let's see, check my profile. Well, yes, I did. I did share the show out. So you can retweet my tweet. You can go on various social media. I am at PDogNight on all of them. I just realized, right down here, this at PDogNight, excuse me, this at PDogNight here, that's by the Twitter, that's me on all social media. I'm at PDogNight pretty much everywhere. And although, except for Instagram, which it says right there, I'm Yes That Marty, but my Instagram page is my Instagram is me doing things that are interesting and sometimes funny because occasionally I have a good sense of humor too. So anyway, let's get right into what's happening in the world because, there's a lot happening and a lot of it has to do with the Supreme Court of the United States. By the way, thank you, Trippy Liberty and Tyler F. for retweeting the show out this morning. So, we had a Supreme Court decision yesterday that got people a little heated. Well, some were cheering and some were heated. Mostly about the court itself is where most of the criticism is. Good morning, Gen T. I see you there. So a lot of things trending today are like this morning. There's a few things that are trending. A few things trending that are very interesting. Now, the first one though doesn't have to do with the Supreme Court, but has to do with the January 6th committee. So let's go through things that are trending right now, and then we'll get into a little bit about the court. The first thing I noticed that I laughed about, and I saw this yesterday, and I made a statement about this yesterday, but Sean Penn is trending on Twitter right now, or at least they have him featured in the Twitter what's happening thing, because apparently people at Twitter are very excited that Sean Penn showed up to the January 6th committee yesterday. Now, my first thought for whatever reason, this was big news. Sean Penn is at the January 6th. In fact, he was sitting right in the front row with this jackass Michael Fano. Now, I shouldn't call him a jackass, but he kind of is, because I shouldn't call him that. Anyway, see, here's the picture of him. He's in the front row with the police officers, the Capitol Police that were there. These guys who were all testifying. If my screen ever pops up there, see that? That's Sean Penn. Right there by Michael Fanone, and this big guy is an officer, and these guys are officers. I don't know what happened to the lady officer. I don't know if I should call her lady officer. The woman, the female, the chick who's an officer that testified. But why is Sean Penn sitting with these? Was he a Capitol officer or something? What the bloody hell do they have his sorry ass up there for? And my first thought, as opposed to my first thought, that was a long time ago. My first thought when I saw Sean Penn, making a big deal about Sean Penn being at the Capitol, the January 6th committee, the fifth session, the fifth highly produced, mini series that they got going on all the channels. I thought, oh my God, thank God, Sean Penn is finally there, because man, he'll fix everything. In fact, I tweeted at that, and a few people found that funny. But anyway, so Sean Penn, the guy who goes and visits didn't he visit with Castro and Chavez when Chavez was alive, and Noriega? I mean, he's like all around all the communists and dictators. He made the fucking communist world tour back when. I know it's Friday, but guys, really, FTG, Sean Penn. Fuck that guy. And people are, but the problem is, okay, wait, now, not only, was he there, but there's some people who are celebrating it. By the way, good morning, Crackshot 322. Good morning, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian. There were some people who were happy about this. So, these stupid dummies, people's called, now look, so first of all, okay, the things just flipped, because the new top one is, thank God Sean Penn is there to bring needed credibility. Actually, that should be this. Yes, that should be one of those. That's actually, Sean Penn told reporters on Thursday that he was attending the January 6th hearing, quote, to observe, end quote, as, quote, a citizen, end quote, and was a guest of former D.C. police officer Michael Fanone. Well, the guy who, if you're not familiar with Michael Fanone's the guy, he got injured during this thing. Apparently was knocked out, and they took him off, and he has some recurring injuries, which is not good. Fuck the people who fucked up Michael Fanone. But then he's the one who's been on every single, he was on every talk show for a while. He was just all out there, and I was like, God, get this guy off my TV screen, because he was just making the rounds on all the concern troll fucking shit about January 6th, and so anyway, But some people, where the Occupy Democrats one? I got to show you this one. This one was funny. Good morning, Papa Hotep. What's up, my friend? And Asia Research Directorate. Good morning. Let's see. Here is, okay. This is this one of those Occupy Democrat things? Look at this. Look at this shit. These people are nuts. Much respect for Sean Penn, not just for this, but for all he does with his not-for-profit organization, CORE around the world. Yeah, he's the one who goes around and hangs out with communist dictators. But anyway, actor Sean Penn attends today's January 6th public hearing, shake hands with each Capitol officer, and thanks them for their service to our nation and our democracy. That's really a representative Republic. Anyway, like this, and thanks Sean Penn for taking a stand against Trump. Oh, yes, whatever. Good morning, Selected Boy.
Yeah, boy.
So anyway, there are actually people excited that Sean Penn was there. Let's see, the 1-6 committee is produced and directed by Hollywood. When Sean Penn can be there and sit in on the hearing, it's set up like a movie. Well, yeah, Sean Penn is an avid civil rights activist who has done so much for vaccines to be available to people. What? Okay, whoever this, again, please don't disparage these people on my time, or at least representing me. If you want to, no, I can't even say it. Just, the disclaimer. Look at this. These people are stupid. Sean Penn is an avid civil rights advocate who has done so much for vaccines to be available to people who otherwise wouldn't have access. He's done so much for the welfare of mankind, the exact opposite of Donald Trump. I'm not surprised he's at the January 6th hearing. Oh, good. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah. Fuck Sean Penn. I don't give a shit. Okay, also, guess who else is trending today? Well, Anita Hill is trending today. And so, this is interesting. Now, somebody here, if you're upset about the recent Supreme Court rulings and are wondering how we got here, Google Anita Hill. Anita Hill is owed so many apologies. I will always believe Anita Hill. The duplicity of Clarence Thomas was on display as the casual misogyny of those 14 men in the Senate Judiciary Committee, including Biden, who has since publicly apologized, was ubiquitous. She was only a woman, and her truth-telling was dismissed. You know what's funny? If you remember that time, and I do remember that time because I was of an adult age of sorts at that time when Clarence Thomas came up for the Supreme Court, and that whole thing with Anita Hill didn't want to testify. She was kind of cajoled and pushed by Democrats to come and testify about whatever that bullshit was, and so I don't know, here's what: still believe Anita Hill, still believe Christine Blasey Ford. What? Christine Blasey Ford didn't know what the fuck. She made up a story and couldn't remember which part of which story she told and the different given times she told it. So anyway, so Anita Hill is trending because Clarence Thomas wrote the decision on this gun thing. The New York, whatever, the group against state of New York, and the group against state of New York won as far as the appeal in the Supreme Court. And so you go, now, so that's why Anita Hill is trending. Also trending today, another person in the left likes, not another person, because they don't blame Anita Hill. They just praise Anita Hill and wish that the last minute theatrics of the Clarence Thomas confirmation would have been successful, which they were not. Now, but another person they blame for this decision is none other than... So, did they do it this morning? Uh-oh. Well, we'll see. That's I'm sure that's trending. Well, real quick. I'll get there. Susan Sarandon is also trending today because a lot of people on the left still blame Susan Sarandon and what's that? Jill Stein. They blame Bernie. They blame Jill Stein. They blame Susan Sarandon for Trump. Did you know that? We do have breaking news. Thank you, Retro Veteran Gaming. Also, someone else just told me this. Jaeger Pony and Roe versus Wade overturned. And let's go into trending, or let's just go into Twitter here and go home. Let's see. Let's get it out. Let's refresh here. So Roe versus Wade has been officially overturned. Breaking Supreme Court officially overturned Roe versus Wade, leaving the legality up to each state. Prosobiac's there. I don't know if he's watching live, but this is, you can watch this on mute and know who is pro-life and pro-abortion. Thank you, Retro Veteran Gaming, for sponsoring the show with a deuce. First sponsor of the day. All right, let's all right, we're gonna roll into this. Yeah, that's oh wow, I didn't realize the notification is not. Oh, it's not even on there. Was it on there? I didn't see it. Is it at the bottom? Let's see, alert box. Where's the alert box? Oh yeah, it was there. Okay, so it said watch this on mute and you can tell who is for pro-life and who is pro-abortion. So we'll watch it on mute. Let's watch it on mute. Shut up. There we go. I hate to have to tell women to shut up, but you know, just kidding, ladies. You know, that's not my style. Not really. Anyway. Oh, and no, DI. The baby's still not crying. Hello, John Smith. Say hi to Elizabeth for me. So these people, yeah, I've seen a lot of this woman. They've been featuring her in a lot of different videos. The black woman with the blonde dye job. Okay, trying to turn the volume on that down. So, I'm just refreshing because I know it has been officially overturned. They're going to blame Susan Sarandon for this too, because she didn't believe in Hillary Clinton. She wanted Bernie or Jill Stein or something. All right, come on. I'm trying to refresh here. I don't want Posobiec. I'm trying to go home. I don't want the tweet. Oh, good Lord. Hello, Kessler. How you doing? Yeah, yes, there's... Oh, you know, here's the thing. There are... Okay, Supreme Court has overturned Roe versus Wade. This is SCOTUS blog. Let's go. Supreme Court opinions. Supreme Court has overturned Roe versus Wade, eliminating the constitutional right to abortion. I hate the amount of people that says based here. This is not a good place to say based under. Elections have consequences. All lies are not punished. The state stare decisis only matters if it suits your politics. False. I think, remember, Dred Scott would be ineffective if there was no stare decisis. That it's not actually a principle in the Constitution. You can correct wrong. You can correct wrong decisions. Yep. Russian collusion equals lies. Fine people equals lies. COVID kids equals lies. Whitmer kidnapping lies. January 6th lies. Voting rights lies. BLM lies. Antifa lies. COVID lies. And SBA letter lies. Horse reins lies. Hunter's laptop lies. Etc. 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 Kids in cages equals lies. What else? Yeah, the kids in cages started with the Obama administration. That's not what I want to do. I wanted to. Okay, so the opinion is right here. Let's see. I wonder how many pages this is. Well, let's do this first. Oh, it's 213 pages. Dobbs for state health officers of the Mississippi Department of Health et al. Versus Jackson Women's Health Organizations et al. Okay, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not going to go through this. I'll leave this linked in the description at the end of the show. But let's see if we can just get some... let's see. What's interesting is there we go. The U.S. Supreme Court is trending right now. There is a group that has vowed to do what's called something of rage, or day of rage or something like that. Breaking: U.S. Supreme Court overturns the landmark Roe versus Wade case, ending nearly 50 years of constitutional protections for abortions. I don't know what CTV News is. We can open this. Irony, none of this would have happened if RBG retired in a timely manner during Big Mike's administration. Well, not necessarily. Does that mean you're saying Hillary Clinton would have won? Is that what you're saying? They never codified Roe, so the federal government never did. The U.S. Supreme Court has ended constitutional protections for abortion that has been in place for nearly 50 years in a decision by its conservative majority to overturn Roe v. Wade. Friday's outcome is expected to lead to abortion bans in roughly half the states. The decision, unthinkable just a few years ago, was the culmination of decades of efforts by abortion opponents made possible by the emboldened right side of the court that has been fortified by 3 appointees of former President Donald Trump. Now, I don't know what this CTV News is, but the way it's written, it seems that they have an editorial bias against this decision. I'm just guessing. The ruling came more than a month after the stunning leak of the draft opinion by Justice Samuel Alito, indicating the court was prepared to take this momentous step. It puts the court at odds with the majority of Americans who favored preserving Roe, according to opinion polls. Opinion polls are not, do not rule the court. A lot of slavery rules were majority opinion, and I'm telling you, that's sorry, no. Breaking the Dobbs decision, the U.S. Supreme Court rules that abortion is not constitutionally protected right, overturning 50 years of precedent. If they immediately use the word precedent in the decision or in their tweet, they're probably against it. Joe Biden tweets, "I am deeply disappointed by the Supreme Court's ruling in New York State." Oh, this is the gun one from yesterday. I'll get back to that one. CNBC, same thing. News, U.S. Supreme Court ruled that religious schools. Oh, this is the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that religious schools get this. Okay, let's go through some of these because there's been a bunch of different decisions. Here's live U.S. national news. Let's see what he got here. So this is NBC News Live. I better not do that because they're really strike happy, so I'm going to leave that muted. U.S. Supreme Court strike down landmark decision Roe versus Wade. U.S. Supreme Court released decision in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization on Friday to overturn Roe versus Wade, the 1973 ruling that guaranteed federal constitutional protections of abortion rights. This is the most recent case, which was heard by the court in December 2021, centered on a Mississippi law banning abortion if the probable gestational age of the unborn human is more than 15 weeks. This ruling comes after a draft decision document signaled this outcome leaked on May 2nd. So that's interesting. Twitter chose to use very, very neutral language. No, P-Dog Night libs would still had a semblance of a majority. Well, if you're counting Roberts, sure. And I don't know if Roberts, I haven't seen anyone to say what it was 5463. I'm sure that it's on here. Good morning, Gunfox61. And thank you again, Retro Veteran Gamer. And good morning, Renee Mayette. Nice to see you. AP. Chief Justice John Roberts would have stopped short of ending the abortion rights, noting that he would have upheld the Mississippi law at the heart of the case, a ban on abortion after 15 weeks, and said no more. So that was, let's see how the AP handles this. Come on. Yeah, my computer's just telling me to go to hell right now. Let's go and stay in this one. Wall Street Journal, same thing. The case the Supreme Court cites crashes. In case the Supreme Court site crashes, here's a PDF of the horrific decision overruling Roe versus Wade on Document Cloud. MSNBC, America could lose more than bodily autonomy following Supreme Court overturn to Roe versus Wade. Interesting. Again, anytime they mention the nearly 50 years or stare decisis, you know they're against it. The Washington Post language. The Supreme Court has struck down Roe versus Wade, which for nearly 50 years has protected the right to abortion. The decision in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health is the most anticipated on the court's term. Yes, it was, because we already had a little bit of a preview. Now, it was a 6-3 decision. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court voted to overturn Roe versus Wade, ruling that the Constitution does not protect the right to an abortion. In April, Jess Bruder reported on the covert network of activists preparing for a post-Roe future. So, that's pretty big deal. It's momentous. There's two big decisions. Now, the one yesterday, I'm gonna go back. Episkipos, how you doing? The one yesterday, we lost bodily autonomy with COVID. True, this is true. Who wrote the decision? Alito wrote the decision. I'm positive. In fact, let's see here. I don't know. I have the what do I do with the PDF? Here it is. Dobbs versus Jackson. Do they have amendments or addendums or some shit? Who wrote it? I mean, this is all the footnotes. Oh, 455 footnotes. Holy shit. That could be why it's 200 pages long. Let's see. Okay, the Constitution does not okay, here's the main gist of the decision. Mississippi Gestational Age Act provides that, except in a medical emergency or in the case of severe fetal abnormality, a person shall not intentionally or knowingly perform or induce an abortion of an unborn human being if the probable gestational age of the unborn human being has been determined to be greater than 15 weeks. Mississippi Code, blah, blah, blah. Respondents, Jackson Women's Health Organization, an abortion clinic, and one of its doctors challenged the act in the federal district court, alleging that it violated the court's precedents establishing a constitutional right to abortion, in particular Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania versus Casey. Those are the two big cases. The district court granted summary judgment in favor of respondents and permanently enjoined enforcement of the act, reasoning that Mississippi's 15-week restriction on abortion violates the court's case forbidding states to ban abortion pre-viability. The Fifth Circuit affirmed. Before this court, petitioners defend the act on the grounds that Roe and Casey were wrongly decided and that the act is constitutional because it satisfies rational basis review. Held, the Constitution does not confer a right to abortion. Roe and Casey are overruled, and the authority to regulate abortion is returned to the people and their elected representatives. The critical question is whether the Constitution, properly understood, confers a right to obtain an abortion. Casey's controlling opinion skipped over that question and reaffirmed Roe solely on the basis of stare decisis. A proper application of stare decisis, however, requires an assessment of the strength of the grounds on which Roe was based. The court, therefore, turns the question that the Casey plurality did not consider. First, I'm just going to read this. We're just going to go through it. So sorry if you get bored on this kind of stuff, but here we go. First, the court reviews the standard that the court's cases have used to determine whether the 14th Amendment reference to liberty protects a particular right. The Constitution makes no express reference to a right to obtain an abortion, but several constitutional provisions have been offered as potential homes for an implicit constitutional right. Roe held that the abortion right is a part of a right to privacy that springs from the 1st, 4th, 5th, 9th, and 14th Amendments. That's the Casey court grounded its decision solely on the theory that the right to obtain an abortion is part of the liberty protected by the 14th Amendment's due process clause. Others have suggested that support can be found in the 14th Amendment, the Equal Protection Clause, but that theory is squarely foreclosed by the court's precedents, which established that a state's regulation of abortion is not a sex-based classification and is thus not subject to the heightened scrutiny that applies to such classifications. And he mentions a couple cases there. Rather, the regulations and prohibitions of abortion are governed by the same standard of review as other health and safety measures. Next, the court examines whether the right to obtain an abortion is rooted in the nation's history and traditions and whether it is an essential component of ordered liberty. The court finds that the right to an abortion is not deeply rooted in the nation's history and tradition. The underlying theory on which Casey rested, that the 14th Amendment's due process clause provides substantive as well as procedural protection for liberty, has long been controversial. The court's decisions have held that the due process clause protects two categories of substantive rights: those rights guaranteed by the first eight amendments to the Constitution, and those rights deemed fundamental that are not mentioned anywhere in the Constitution. In deciding whether a right falls into either of these categories, the question is whether the right is deeply rooted in our history and tradition, and whether it is essential to the nation's scheme of ordered liberty. Timms versus Indiana, blah, blah, blah. The term liberty alone provides little guidance, thus historical inquiries are essential whenever the court is asked to recognize a new component of the liberty interest protected by the due process clause. In interpreting what is meant by liberty, the court must guard against the natural human tendency to confuse what the 14th Amendment protects with the court's own ardent views about the liberty that Americans should enjoy. For this reason, the court has been reluctant to recognize rights that are not mentioned in the Constitution. So he's going on, and I'm not going to finish that, but so he's saying that there's the rights not expressly in the Constitution are then probably taken to the people. So interesting. It's about, oh, you're just saying weather. Real quick, thank you, John, for sponsoring the show. And John, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. I don't know why the bell's not working. Thank you for the $9.99. That would be the Herman Cain donation, who says, those damn racists not wanting to kill black cell clubs. Yeah, you know, apparently people think that you should be able to remove those clumps at any given time, including after the clumps are already gone from the body. So I don't know. Interesting how, oh, wait a minute. What? Roe versus Wade has fallen. Oh, Roe versus Wade was 5-4. The Supreme Court overturned the landmark case that guaranteed a constitutional right to abortion for 50 years. The decision clears the way for dozens of states to swiftly ban the procedure. Boy, it's pretty interesting. So, good morning, Green Badger Outdoors, or as Green Badger Outdoors says, good relevant time of day, everyone, because some of you aren't in the morning. So, I'm gonna get into more of this tomorrow. The more I learn, I guess. But right now, I want to go back to what I was talking, because it is a big Supreme Court today, and in fact, here's it's interesting because Dobbs was already trending this morning, and obviously that's going to be the big discussion today. But for example, if you look under Dobbs on trending topics, so Biden wants to take away a woman's choice of birth control method. What does that mean? I missed it because it reset. Let me be abundantly clear. Dobbs affirmed there is no such thing as abortion rights. Any journalist who uses it in a story is committing an error. Interesting, because now there is, if you're going by a Supreme Court decision, it is, now it's not a right, I guess. So states can regulate it how it wants to. Now, I'm still, I think states should tread carefully on this. I'm personally, now this is just me, and you feel free to disagree with me. I don't think outright bans are a good idea. But the idea that you couldn't even restrict abortion, the practice, until now, is, I think it's sane. It should not be just wanton, unregulated. The ones who are saying up until the time of birth, until that child is coming out of the birth canal, you should be able to abort the child. That's bullshit. It's a clump of cells. That's bullshit. It's not a clump of cells. Do I think there should be reasonable opportunities in very early pregnancy to have one? I guess I think that's fair. I have no problem with things like the RU46, the ones that stop it from implanting, whatever that word is. There's a word for that, right? Morning after pills. I don't think it's a problem. Because I don't necessarily believe that until that fetus, or that tiny clump of cells, right? The fetus that's formed, until it's implanted and starts growing, it's, I don't have a problem with that. But the idea that women are losing bodily autonomy? Oh, no. Except for in cases of forced action. I'm not going to say the word that refers to. Absolutely, women have bodily autonomy. You have bodily autonomy before you do certain acts. And men who are supporting abortion, you have bodily autonomy before. Use your brain and cover that thing, right? Or do something to avoid. Now, if they start dipping into the idea of birth control and shit like that, well, I'm going to go, wait a minute. No. I'm not sure that makes sense. Because I think I have no problem with birth control either. But Roe versus Wade, arrow 404, Jesus. If I was a state governor, abortion would be outright banned except for rape or life-threatening health risk. It's funny on that too, Gunfox, because that's one of the things that, well, what about rape or incest or, life of the mother? Okay, fine. Someone who says that, okay, we'll give you that. Let's say we'll allow abortion for just only rape, only incest, and only for the life of the mother. Would that be acceptable to you? Well, no, wait, no, I didn't mean that, because, elective abortion should be just, whatever. I'm not against elective abortions, but there should be a certain point in the pregnancy where you go, well, wait a minute, that thing in there is moving, and it has its own body, even though it requires you for nourishment, because, hey, my children required us for nourishment until they were 18 and left the house. It's not like, so the idea that, I get it, it is your body, but it's also, that is a separate body from you, even though it's inside you. That's my personal opinion. I don't know if you can argue that. How you argue that it's just a clump of cells. Well, what about the women who want that clump of cells as a baby? There's states where if you murder a woman who's pregnant, you're charged with a double murder. So it's not just a clump of cells. Dog thrapple. Hello, Scribe Light. Nice to see you, my friend. So anyway, Dean Obadiah, the GOP Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade is about one thing: imposing Christian nationalism. A lot of people are yelling this Christian nationalism bullshit. I'm sorry. No, that's not it. That's not it. I'm going to move on beyond this topic though, because I wanted to, I'm going to save that for later. I was going to do that now, but I'm going to go into, because the Supreme Court is a big topic over the last couple of days. And, oh my God, this is Dobbs, this is Patrick Raffini. Oh, he's talking about the hearings. I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about the Supreme Court a little bit today. So, in legal insurrection, article about yesterday's ruling that got everyone. Oh, you thought they were reading yesterday. Well, they're reading today, big time. Hello, Man Squatch. Supreme Court strikes down restrictive New York gun licensing law because the state of New York issues public carry licenses only when an applicant demonstrates a special need for self-defense. We conclude that the state's licensing regime violates the Constitution. And this one is written by none other than Justice Clarence Thomas, who it was his birthday yesterday, by the way. Oh wait, Marty, you have a lot of news in Discord. I know I do. I've been reading it lately, and I'm like, oh my God, you're trying to kill me, Gun Fox. In fact, we may do just a strictly Gun Fox show on Monday. Hello, Hig, nice to see you, and hello from Cindy, or to Cindy, who says hi from Cindy. You may recall our coverage of the first major Second Amendment case to make it to the Supreme Court in over a decade. New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, Inc. versus Bruin. New York concealed carry restrictions seem likely to fall as part of an important Second Amendment case argued in the Supreme Court. That was legal insurrection previewing this particular case. And they said it's been a decade since the U.S. Supreme Court took a major Second Amendment case, much to the chagrin of Justice Clarence Thomas. But today was argument in New York State Rifle Association versus Bruin case we previously. Okay, so they're going over their case from before, right? The court just struck down the law. Here's the law. Here's the law that they were doing. New York State generally prohibits the carriage of a firearm in public, both openly and concealed. An individual can only carry a firearm concealed if they apply and receive a license issued by a state licensing officer. But in New York, a concealed carry license isn't so easy to come by. A licensing officer will only issue a concealed carry permit if the applicant meets a lengthy list of criteria, including things such as being 21 years of age or older, being of good moral character, and not having been convicted of any felony or serious crime. This list, although long, is fairly standard among states that require citizens to get a permit to carry a firearm concealed. But New York is what is called a, quote, may issue, end quote, state, meaning that the state adds an additional barrier to getting a permit. A licensing officer will only issue a concealed carry license to an applicant when proper cause exists for the issuance thereof. In contrast, shall issue states require the licensing authority to issue a concealed carry license to an applicant so long as they are not specifically prohibited from having one. New York's discretionary consideration makes it all but impossible for the law-abiding citizens to receive a permit to carry a firearm concealed in New York. The burden is placed on the applicant to demonstrate a special need of self-protection distinguishable from that of the general community or of persons engaged in the same profession. In other words, an applicant's mere desire to carry a firearm for the purpose of self-defense is not, quote, proper cause in the eyes of New York. So that explains how they basically have pretty weird, just arbitrary discretion over whether or not you can own a firearm or carry a firearm in New York. The court struck down the law in a 6-3 opinion authored by Justice Thomas. Quote, the District of Columbia versus Heller and McDonald versus Chicago, we recognize that the Second and 14th Amendments protect the right of an ordinary law-abiding citizen to possess a handgun in the home for self-defense. In this case, petitioners and respondents agree that ordinary law-abiding citizens have a similar right to carry handguns publicly for their self-defense. We too agree and now hold, consistent with Heller and McDonald, that the Second and 14th Amendment protects an individual's right to carry a handgun for self-defense outside the home. Now, I'm just going to stop. The parties nevertheless dispute whether New York's licensing regime respects the constitutional right to carry handguns publicly for self-defense. In 43 states, the government issues licenses to carry based on objective criteria, but in 6 states, including New York, the government further conditions issuance of a license to carry on a citizen showing of some additional special need. Now, there's a problem, right? The problem was that the Second Amendment doesn't say you have to have a special need. The operating language is shall not be infringed. The right of the people to what is it? Something bear, not possess and bear arms. What is it? Something. Anyway, keep and bear arms. Keep and bear arms. Own and bear arms. Shall not be infringed. Well, the state of New York was infringing on that right. So Dana Lash, New York's proper cause requirement violates the 14th Amendment in that it prevents law-abiding citizens with ordinary self-defense needs from exercising the right to bear arms. Now, there are a couple parts of this that were very interesting, and it was Justice Thomas who brought this up. Now, by the way, there was definitely some reading on this. So Clarence Thomas, now some people believe this is the greatest victory yet as far as the Second Amendment, because the court's always been reluctant to rule on Second Amendment cases. I think you had Heller, you had those two cases in McDonald, but before that there had been a Second Amendment ruling since like 1937. Okay. The Supreme Court on Thursday recognized the constitutional right to carry firearms for self-defense for the first time, a sweeping victory for Second Amendment rights. The justices struck down New York State's restriction on concealed carry and a far-reaching ruling poised to undo remaining limits on the right to carry. Justice Clarence Thomas delivered the majority opinion for a 6-3 court over the dissents from the liberal trio. The decision easily eclipsed the bipartisan gun control legislation advancing in Congress. You know, remember I haven't even talked about that much, but you know, Congress is advancing legislation through the legislative branch that this ruling probably puts the old nixing on. You know, it gives you one of these. The bill, crafted after deadly mass shootings in Buffalo, New York, and Uvalde, Texas, means to beef up red flag laws, improve information sharing for background checks, and increase security at schools. For gun control advocates, the effort is their first victory at the federal level since the 1990s, but it will be a hollow one in view of Thursday's ruling, which casts doubt on the constitutionality of numerous limits on carrying guns in public. President Biden is expected to sign the bipartisan bill, but was quick to condemn the ruling. He reiterated his view that the Second Amendment ought to be a top issue in the November congressional elections. Isn't it weird how this is that one right that's enumerated in the Constitution that they feel like they can just pass that by. We don't need that. The ruling now this is Biden. The ruling contradicts most common sense and the Constitution. How does it contradict the Constitution? And should be deeply trouble us all, he said. I call on Americans across the country to make their voices heard on gun safety, lives and life. That's not gun safety. You're not asking for gun safety. You're asking for gun restrictions. That's not the same thing. Gun safety is having it clean and make sure it doesn't backfire and make sure that you don't, point it in the wrong direction. You don't point at people when you're not ready to use it. That's gun safety. Locking it up when you're not using it. But however, that's gun safety. You are asking for gun restrictions and or confiscation in some ways. Now, the court first recognized the individual right of self-defense in the home in the 2008 case of D.C. versus Heller. Because in D.C., they said you couldn't even have a gun within your own home. And they're like, wait a minute, keep and bear arms. Wait a minute, how can you not have it in your home? You can't. Keep and bear arms means you can keep it in your home. You can keep it wherever you want to. Thank you, Rick. Thanks, Rick. Yes, Roe overturned. We're getting back to that in a bit. So anyway, hey, let's go. Where's the one that had some of the best? Oh, here it is. Oh, Biden deeply disappointed over Supreme Court ruling upholding the Second Amendment. I'm going to be reading these same articles tomorrow. Biden deeply disappointed over Supreme Court ruling against Roe versus Wade. Let's skip that. I want to go to the one here, this Federalist article, the best lines from the ruling upholding gun rights. Dissolve the Supreme. Oh, no, wait. Are these the? Oh no, that's not it. This is. By the way, I'll have to show you some of the laughing things. Oh, I just got all excited this morning. Anna's Kasparian is just waking up, and her head is exploding. Good times, almost as delicious as Trump winning in 2016. Yeah. Oh boy, the heads are going to explode. I'll be on Twitter a lot today, just soaking it in. Here's the best lines from the Supreme Court takedown of New York's unconstitutional gun licensing scheme. The U.S. Supreme Court struck down a restrictive gun licensing law in New York, which required individuals who wanted to obtain a license to carry a firearm outside the home to prove proper cause for doing so. In a 6-3 vote, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to some of the lines here. The Second Amendment protects ordinary, law-abiding citizens. As Thomas clearly notes in his opinion, quote, it is undisputed that petitioners Koch and Nash, two ordinary, law-abiding adult citizens, are part of the people whom the Second Amendment protects. Thomas said New York's attempts to limit the Second Amendment rights of individuals like the men who applied to carry handguns outside of their homes but were rejected are clearly unconstitutional because such rights are protected under the scope of the Constitution. Quote, the Second Amendment's plain text thus presumptively guarantees petitioners Koch and Nash a right to, quote, bear, end quote, arms in public for self-defense, he wrote. The burden proof, and then when New York subjectively rejected the two citizens' attempt to obtain a handgun license, the burden of proof was forced on the citizens who were required to prove that they had, quote, proper cause, end quote, to carry handguns as determined by the state. Not only did Thomas confirm that no New York statute defines proper cause, but he affirmed that the burden of proof when it comes to the constitutional right to bear arms should be on the government, not the citizen whose rights are designed to protect. Quote, when the Second Amendment's plain text covers an individual's conduct, the Constitution presumptively protects that conduct. The government must then justify its regulation by demonstrating that it is consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulations. Only then may the court conclude that the individual's conduct falls outside of the Second Amendment's unqualified command, Thomas wrote. Let's go to the history, though. History does not support restrictive subjective licensings. Also in the majority opinion, Thomas emphasized the importance of historical tradition to determining cases related to firearms. He noted that 43 states issue various licenses to carry a gun outside of the home based on objective definable criteria, but 6 states, including New York, California, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, and New Jersey, have all made their licensing requirements based on subjective criteria determined by the government. As Thomas noted, quote, apart from a handful of late 19th century jurisdictions, the historical record compiled by respondents does not demonstrate a tradition of broadly prohibiting the public carry of commonly used firearms for self-defense, nor is there such a historical tradition limiting public carry only to those law-abiding citizens who demonstrate special needs for self-defense, he added. I want to go to the one, though, where he, this was the best part for me, though. This is the best part for me because it's interesting, and all gun control is racist. But before I do that, let me get this one. Thank you, Javidus Midehouse. I know there's a joke in there somewhere. I've never been able to figure it out. With a 556 or a big bullet, thank you for sponsoring the show, who says the states are just going to ignore these rulings. The law has become lawless. It's time to balkanize. Thank you. Thank my lucky stars. I'm not David Pakman. I'll give you that one, too. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show one more time. Well, yes. And everyone else is happy, too. We'll get to that. The idea that the states can just ignore the rulings. We'll see. Probably wouldn't be a good idea, though. Here's the most interesting part, though. Quote, even before the Civil War commenced in 1861, this court indirectly affirmed the importance of the right to keep and bear arms in public. In a review of the public discourse surrounding Reconstruction, Thomas noticed that public carry for self-defense remained a central component of the protection that the 14th Amendment secured for all citizens. After the Civil War, of course, the exercise of this fundamental right by freed slaves was systematically thwarted. This court has already recounted some of the Southern abuses violating blacks' rights to keep and bear arms. Here's the section that's really good. This is Clarence Thomas rightly notes the fundamentally racist roots of the American gun control movement. Much like modern-day Democrats, racist Jim Crow segregationists hated the idea of black people being able to defend themselves from violent KKK lynch mobs. So this is Thomas's section here. Justice Chief Taney offered what he thought was a parade of horribles that would result from recognizing that free blacks were citizens. This is in Plessy Ferguson, I believe. Is that right? I think so. The horrible that will result from recognizing free blacks were citizens of the United States. If blacks were citizens, Taney fretted, they would be entitled to privileges and immunities of citizens, including the right to keep and carry arms wherever they went. Thus, even Chief Justice Taney recognized, albeit unenthusiastically in the case of blacks, that public carry was a component of the right to keep and bear arms. A right free blacks were often denied in antebellum America. So this is after the Civil War, of course, the exercise of this fundamental right by freed slaves was systematically thwarted. This court has already recounted some of the Southern. Oh shoot, there's a little mess up there. Oh, because I don't have the whole thing. Here we go. Hang on a second. Oh no, I can't get to it. Let me see if I can find Sean Davis here. Hang on, gang. Sorry about that. Let's Sean Davis. Because I want to read that part, because this is the part that because some people say, oh my God, let's see, where's it at? Here we go. Did he pin this? I hope he did. Oh, he's been busy. Anyway, oh, there it is. Here's what I'm looking for. All right. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that, gang. Let's go full screen on this so you can see it. So Taney fretted that they would be entitled to privileges and immunities of citizens, including the right to keep and carry arms wherever they went. Thus, even Justice Taney, recognized, albeit unenthusiastically in the case of blacks, that the public carry was a component of the right to keep and bear arms, a rightfully blacks were often denied in antebellum America. After the Civil War, of course, the exercise of this fundamental right by freed slaves was systematically thwarted. This court has already recounted some of the Southern abuses violating blacks' rights to keep and bear arms. See McDonald, 561 U.S. at 771, which they were to disarm blacks. Hang on a second. Noting the systematic efforts to, there we go, made to disarm blacks. Old muskets and shotguns were taken away from freed slaves, as such weapons would be wrestled from the hands of lunatics. In the years before the 39th Congress proposed the 14th Amendment, the Freedmen Bureau regularly kept it abreast of the dangers to blacks and the Union men in the postbellum South. The reports described how blacks used public carry publicly carried weapons to defend themselves and their communities. For example, the Bureau reported that a teacher from a freedman school in Maryland had written to say that because of the attacks on the school, both the mayor and the sheriff have warned the colored people to go armed to school, which they do, and that the superintendent of schools came down and brought the teacher a revolver for his protection, noting how during the New Orleans riots, blacks under attack defended themselves with such pistols that they had. Witnesses before the Joint Committee on Reconstruction also described the depredations visited on Southern blacks and the efforts they made to defend themselves. One Virginia music professor related that when 2 Union men were attacked, they drew their revolvers and held their assailants at bay. An assistant commissioner to the Bureau from Alabama similarly reported that men were robbing and disarming Negroes upon the highway, indicating that blacks indeed carried arms publicly for their self-protection, even if not always with success. Also, let's see also HR executive blah, 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 describing a Ku Klux Klan outfit that rode through the country, robbing everyone they came across of money, pistols, and papers. At 36, noting how a black man in Tennessee had been murdered on his way to get a book subscription, with the murderer taking, among other things, the man's pistols. Blacks had procured great numbers of old army muskets and revolvers, particularly in Texas, and employed them to protect themselves with vigor and audacity. Seeing that the government was inadequately protecting them, there was the strongest desire on the part of the freedom to secure arms, revolvers particularly. On July 6, 1868, Congress extended the 1866 Freedmen's Bureau Act and it reaffirmed that freedmen were entitled to the full and equal benefit of all laws proceedings concerning personal liberty and personal security, including the constitutional right to keep and bear arms. So, obviously, back in the time, gun laws were used to, or gun control was used against black people. So Clarence Thomas, rightly in this decision, noted that historical reality. Hello, Ronan. Nice to see you, sir. Anyway, now let's get to the reading from this former decision. Then we'll get caught up on some of the reading on the latest decision. But this is liberals conceded. This is yesterday's complaint. I'm sure it's going to be even worse today. In fact, what I got to get to that thing of rage, whatever that was. Liberals criticized the Supreme Court's ruling in New York State Rifle Pistol Association versus Bruin Thursday. Some demanded that states defy the 6-3 ruling that ruled New York's discretionary issuance of concealed carry permits violated the Second Amendment, which they don't. Others called on Democrats to expand the Supreme Court in response to the decision. This is from the Daily Caller. Liberals criticized the Supreme Court Thursday after it ruled New York's requirement that applicants for concealed carry permits must prove they had good cause violated the Second Amendment because of the state of New York's issues public carry licenses only when an applicant demonstrates a special need for self-defense. We conclude that the state's licensing regime violates the Constitution. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the 6-3 majority, and in New York, State Rifle and a Pistol versus Bruin. Now, the reactions, obviously the one that everyone's heard the most about, Keith Olbermann, it has become necessary to dissolve the Supreme Court of the United States. First step is for a state to court. Excuse me. First step is for a state. What? Is for a state the court has now forced guns upon to ignore the ruling. Great. You're a court. Why and how do you think you can enforce your rulings? Now, first of all, this is just even this line here. The forced guns upon? They're not forced upon the state. They're just saying that the right of the citizen shall not be infringed. But it just says you cannot arbitrarily not issue licenses or the ability to carry a firearm to people. You have to keep it even. You have to keep it. The burden's on the state, not on the citizen. It's a numerate right. Anyway, the Supreme Court. Now, let's see. Max Berger of Perfect Union tweeted, If liberals are going to save our republic, they need to start acting as if there is an ongoing war to overturn it. Because there is. Following norms won't save us. We can't compromise to end the conflict. We have to win it. The Supreme Court has made their decision. Now let them enforce it. Thank you, Ho. That's a name in the chat world here. Ho says, Ho's mad. Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul of New York lambasted the ruling in a statement that was released on video, saying the state legislatures would convene to address the high court's ruling. Quote, "We just received some very disturbing news from Washington that the Supreme Court of the United States has just stripped away the state of New York's right and responsibility to protect its citizens," Hochul said, calling the ruling language shocking. Hello, Septif Wolves. How you doing? And Aaron Meredith and Anna Lynn and Plague Dr. Zach. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Who is this? Democratic Attorney General William Tong of Connecticut. Let's see what he says here.
This is Attorney General William Tong.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. Supreme Court just handed down a decision in a case called Bruin that overturns important provisions of New York's gun laws.
Wait a minute, whoa. Wait, hold it. You're from Connecticut? Oh, well, this affects you too. Undermine Connecticut gun laws, which are some of the strongest in the nation. You know, I know there's a real good there's some murders in Connecticut too. How do those gun laws? Real Wade Nation. Hi P Dogs. So is DC really going to burn? LOL. I laughed. I don't know. It's gonna be weird. We'll get to that.
Its gun laws, which are some of the strongest in the nation.
Okay.
I don't have to tell you that Connecticut has the worst relationship possible with gun violence after what happened in Sandy Hook almost 10 years ago.
Whoa, wait. Let's back this up. I don't have to tell you. Wait a minute. Before that, he said, did he say Connecticut, undermine Connecticut's gun laws, which are some of the strongest in the nation, followed by?
Which are some of the strongest in the nation.
Followed by?
I don't have to tell you that Connecticut has the worst relationship possible with gun violence after what happened in Sandy Hook almost 10 years ago.
Wait a minute. If you have some of the worst relationship with gun violence, but you have the strongest gun laws in America, some of the strongest gun laws, could it be that it's not the gun laws that are the problem? I'm just curious.
And it's horrifying to us to see it replayed again in Uvalde, Texas, and in mass shootings across the country.
How does this law stop those tragedies? Or how does this ruling exacerbate those tragedies? All it's saying that if you are going to issue licenses to law-abiding citizens, you can't arbitrarily deny the licenses. That's basically what the law says. The right of the people to keep marijuana shall not be infringed. It doesn't even address. It's funny because as I've been reading about this, it's not even necessarily addressing the fact that they require you to have a license. They're just saying that you can't just deny people a license. If they're a law-abiding citizen, you cannot deny the license for any arbitrary reason. And New York does it for very arbitrary, saying that you have to. It's the burden of the citizen to prove that they need a firearm. And they just arbitrarily say, well, no, you don't have any dangerous issues. We're the state. We tell you whether or not you can worry about your safety. So that's what they overturned. They didn't even say that you had, well, never mind.
I was part of a team of legislators that helped to write the post-Sandy Hook reforms.
Okay.
I wrote the domestic violence gun law,
did it stop?
the ban on bump stocks, and helped introduce the first ban in this country on ghost guns.
Okay.
We
what
are
is
not going back in.
And what does that have to do with what the ruling was? I'm just curious.
Up and fight. And if this Bruin
Fight?
decision
Oh, no. He said fight. Insurrection.
leads to an attack on Connecticut's gun laws, we will be the firewall, and we will do everything we can to protect Connecticut families and children, particularly kids in school.
From law-abiding gun owners. Yes, you're going to protect them from law-abiding gun owners because it's not. Holy shit.
From gun violence.
Okay, whatever. Other denunciations emerged from the teachers' union, gun control groups, politicians, liberal legal scholars, and others. But they decided to feature George Takei, yes, Lieutenant Sulu, or whatever his name is. Democratic voters hold the House, expand the Senate with wins in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, then expand the Supreme Court to 15 justices. Yes, if you can't do it if you can't win, change the rules. Thank you, Tyre. Oh, this is Liberal Tyre. Liberal Tyre is a character, I believe. Well, maybe. We'll see. So, with this new rule, thank you for sponsoring the show, by the way. I appreciate it. So, with this liberal... Oh, by the way, Ho, I forgot to tell you. Well, Ho... Probably jabbing his mind out. Ho, thank you, but you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you. I forgot to change that over. Tyre says, I have a sneaking suspicion that Ho and somebody here. Someone, I don't know how you did that. I have to figure out. Oh, that would be John. John is Ho. So you're still the Streamlabs Superstar. Anyway, Liberal Tyre says, so with this new ruling, criminals are going to finally start disobeying the gun laws. New York is going to go from a utopia where no one is killed by gun violence to a third world hellhole where might makes right. Pack the courts, damn it. Thank you, Liberal Tyre. I believe that was a parody of Real Tyre, but thank you for sponsoring the show. George Takei. Okay, yeah, George Takei. Pack the court. That's their new one. Let's win the Senate. Pack the court. They want you to pack the court now because it's 50-50, which means Democrats have a majority in the Senate. Wait. 50-50 is not. Okay, never mind. Mehdi Hassan from MSNBC says, as you watch the Supreme Court today undermine some rights, Miranda, while expanding others, guns, don't forget that it doesn't have to be this way. Dems control the White House and both branches of Congress for a few months more and could unpack, rebalance this GOP-packed court. That's not what packing the court means, you fucking moron. Packing the court is what you're expecting the court to do by adding justices just so you can change the majority and make it more palatable to your sorry ass. Ely Mistel, that fucking big fat Q-tip looking dude. Again, Mondaire Jones is one of the only people in Congress who gets that the way to stop the court is to expand the court. I really hope Dem primary voters decide to keep him in Congress because we need this voice. Mondaire Jones is a moron. This is from a while back, I think, that he said in 2013, SCOTUS gutted the Voting Rights Act, which had been reauthorized unanimously by Congress. Today, it struck down a 100-year-old New York law aimed at keeping us safe from gun violence. This court is on a rampage. The way to restore it, sanity, is to add 4 seats. Well, Mondaire Jones, you are not in the United States Senate, first of all, so you have no way to do this. Plus, I don't think there's a majority of people in the Senate who want to do this, so shut the fuck up. Anyway, so, God, I'm a little feisty today, aren't I? Shall we go back and see what's happening in the, let's go back to the U.S. Supreme Court. Let's just read some tweets, some responses, some salt. Real quick though, let me thank a couple people here. Let's see. Aaron Manor, thank you. Rotten Corpse, I said Trippy Liberty, and Tyler F. for reasons between the show. Also, Kiefer Dam, thanks for tweeting out the show. And I believe, that's it today. Okay, that's cool. All right, let's just go into this. Where is this? Not that. Here, let's go into the Supreme Court decision. All right, live. This is ABC News live at the court.
Here is abortion being made illegal in the United States. What we are talking about is states being able to reflect what the people want through their votes. So, if she, that woman has all sorts of different options in front of her, and I would offer that adoption is a beautiful and noble and viable option as well.
Gene Mancini, the president, March for Life, pointing out that the marches began 1 year after Roe versus Wade, some 50 years ago. Embracing what they consider
okay, I'm not going to stay on that because they'll probably take my stream down. But anyway, let's go through some of the. I'm going to go to. Let's see. Should we start with Reuters? I want to find someone that has a lot of comments on it. Or here, let's do this. Let's go. Well, we already know the deal here. Let's see if there's anyone. Somebody named Kimberly Robinson. Oh. Let's see. This is someone named Maya. So, I'm outside the Supreme Court this morning with Madi Alder or something like that. 100 protesters are here, and about 30 police on bikes just left. The Supreme Court is releasing opinion this morning. Next up on the 1010, unclear. Okay, that's what before it was even released. I want to see what people are saying. Let's go this. I know. Let's go into Explore here and. I want some, let's see. Trending. There we go. Trending number 1, Dobbs. Mitch McConnell's trending. Mitch McConnell, who had a larger role than anybody in building the Supreme Court, celebrates the end of Roe versus Roe. The Supreme Court landmark ruling in Dobbs is courageous and correct. This is a historic victory in the Constitution and for the most vulnerable in our society. Should we do Dobbs? Let's do Dobbs. I was going to do Mitch McConnell, but let's do Dobbs. Mark Joseph Stern, I don't know who he is. He says, there is so much to grieve today, but at this moment I am mourning for all the countless Americans who will be killed by the Supreme Court decision. That's an ironic statement. The mothers who will be forced into deeper poverty, the miscarriage patients investigated and denied care. Really? Do you think miscarriage patients will be denied care? Denied care. That's an interesting statement. He quoted Slate. There's a strong correlation between states with restrictive abortion laws and states with high rates of maternal infant mortality. The end of Roe will result in the deaths of many more women, with women of color at disproportionate risk. Really, of complications and death from childbirth. It will also increase the rate of child poverty in regions without abortion access. Red states have failed to enact any meaningful policies to address these problems by criminalizing abortion without bothering to help those forced to carry unwanted pregnancies. They have forced millions of low-income women and their children deeper into poverty. I always have a hard time squaring this with the words that they like to use, bodily autonomy. I don't know that changes your bodily autonomy. Hello, Tadashi Jinhao. Nice to see you. What's going on in the U.S. right now? Well, the Supreme Court has overturned Roe versus Wade, so we're going to read some of just the responses. And that's all I'm going to do for the rest of the show is read responses to this. Dean Obadiah, that jackass. The GOP Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade is about one thing, imposing Christian nationalism. We already talked about that one. Stephen Crowder, on the right, victory. The SCOTUS just made their decision. Roe versus Wade is now overturned, so he calls it a victory. Here's Chucky. Chucky boy. Good for the conservative justices that stood their ground and ignored the threats of this violent extremist. This is from when I think he was yelling at Kavanaugh.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh.
You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Okay. Did actually the Roe versus Wade was the decision in 1972 that made abortion illegal across the board, across the states. Now states can write their own laws regarding abortion. Let's see. The final paragraph of the three liberals' Dobbs dissent, quote, "With sorrow for this court, but more for the many millions of American women who have today lost a fundamental constitutional protection, we dissent." That was the last line in the dissent. Al Franken is weighing in. Today's decision is the culmination of a 50-year project by GOP operatives, religious fundamentalists, billionaire oligarchs, and right-wing media. Work, donate, vote. Really? Because, well, what was the decision in 72? A culmination of 50 years of left-wing radicals who said anything goes? Look, I think you can have sensible laws on abortion, and right now we've been losing it. Thank you again, liberal tire. He says, "Oh my God, the repeal of Roe versus Wade means women will now have to be responsible for their actions. Oh my God, pack the court to save the court until a GOP president gets like 19 picks. Then we must reduce the courts. But we will cross that bridge later." Thank you, liberal tire. It's for response to the show. Mike Leeds, senator from Utah. My statement on Dobbs, who says the national nightmare of Roe has ended. The Supreme Court of the United States has overturned the wrongly decided Roe versus Wade versus Planned Parenthood and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. While the 63 million lives lost to abortion since Roe can never be reclaimed, we can take heart that the Supreme Court has recognized that Roe versus Wade and its progeny belong next to Plessy versus Ferguson and the Dred Scott versus Sanford in the anti-canon of Supreme Court history. I've never been prouder to have clerked for Justice Alito or the Supreme Court of the United States. I pray for national unity and for the safety of the justices in the Supreme Court, who, in regard to this case, have faced unprecedented attacks. I thank God that the people of Utah and the United States are now free to enact protections for life and human dignity. Again, so this does not make abortion illegal in the United States. Just a reminder, it says each state can determine their laws based on this. Someone named Aaron Walker, I stopped reading Alito's opinion in Dobbs because, as best I can tell, it's pretty much the same thing as what was leaked. I am sure some enterprising person will compare line for line any changes made, but nothing was leaping out at me. This is the whole thread. If they continue on, that's a good thing because it means intimidation failed. In some ways, it became even more important to release this opinion as is after the campaign of terrorism against the conservative justices. Terrorism failed today and the law prevailed. I'm curious to see what the concurrences say and how the vote breaks down. Glancing over his Clarence Thomas opinion, he basically wants to tear down the entire ready of the doctrine and substantive due process. What? So basically, no right to birth control, no right to gay sex, and certainly no right to gay marriage. That doesn't mean that those things are banned under his approach or his proposed approach, just that you don't have a constitutional right to it. He is right, but I think it'll be hard to get there. For instance, how do you imagine a case challenging the right to gay marriage? And who is going to pass a ban on birth control? So Griswold is overturned anyway. I will add that to this thread as I keep reading. Okay, I'm going to leave that out. If you want to see Aaron Walker analyze the decision, which seems to be from a right of center place, I'll put that in the threads or in the links separately. Let's move on. Someone named Meg, if you're celebrating this ruling, then you're not only out of touch, but you're deranged. Making abortion illegal does not stop abortions. Millions of people will suffer and die as a consequence. Y'all don't care about the babies. You care about control. Again, this does not immediately make abortion illegal. It does, although some states are going to do that. Righteous Crusader, I hope this decision teaches the left that intimidation, firebombs, and political violence doesn't work, but I doubt it will because it's who they are. Dr. Gina something real am voice. Now God can heal our land. We removed the biggest block, in my opinion. So many more wicked ways, but killing our babies is the biggest. Joshua Walker, guided by the history and tradition that map the essential components of the nation's concept of ordered liberty, the court finds the 14th Amendment clearly does not protect the right to an abortion. That's from the decision. Dina Obadiah, again, American women have less civil rights today than they did in 1973 thanks to the GOP. True or not? Do you think they have less civil rights? Or was Roe wrongly decided? That's a good question. Ban gay divorce. Okay. Here we go. The requisite Handmaid's Tale. The Republicans did this. They don't give a damn about women's rights or reproductive rights. The SCOTUS is corrupt. You can thank anyone that voted for Trump and the Republicans. Fuck them all. It's standforbetter.org. I almost don't want to know what standforbetter.org. John Fugelsang, the Hollywood dude, whatever. 4 of the 5 justices ending Roe versus Wade were appointed by presidents the majority of U.S. voters voted against. The 5th was appointed by a POTUS who opposed the 1964 Civil Rights Act. There are more of us vote this November. Well, we'll see. This November, so he wants the Congress. Okay. The Horse Whisperer, Horse, H-O-A-R-S-E, a criminal syndicate attacked the Constitution today from their corruptly obtained seats on what was once the Supreme Court. The American legal system has been destroyed by a corrupt former president and his party. Today's theft of rights has no legitimacy. Okay. Y'all can make abortions illegal, but turn a blind eye to a motherfucker that walks in a school and shoot it up. Did they turn a blind eye to the motherfucker who well, the police in Uvalde did. By the way, those police in Uvalde, that police chief, that isn't the police chief like the general police chief. Do you realize that they have a special school police police force? And that was the chief of the school police force that wouldn't go in and save those kids. Motherfucker, fuck that guy. Ted Lieu, yes, marching with members of Congress to the Supreme Court to protest the Dobbs decision. Well, whatever. Zara Ahmed, Dr. PH, people are always going to want, need, and get abortions. All SCOTUS has done is make them more inaccessible, more legally dangerous, and more inequitable. This is not justice. This is tyranny. No, that's, you need to deal with that with your state house, my friend. It's not, it's just, you have to deal with it with your state house. The state house will decide those laws for you. So if you really want to make abortion illegal up till the date of birth, you go to your state house, and that's where the democracy is. Cliff Schechter, whoever this is, and there it is. The Supreme Court has made this. Oh, this is rich. And there it is. The Supreme Court, made up of sexual abusers, former Republican operatives, mysteriously paid debts, stolen seats, has just overturned Roe versus Wade. Either expand the court or let 35% of Americans rule our democracy. There's your state. Go to your state. Go to your state. That's where your democracy is. Thinking about when I was told I was being paranoid and overdramatic that Trump was able to appoint 3 SCOTUS justices because I knew it meant Roe was done. Well, So when someone enters the Supreme Court, I am betting someone will they be held for an indefinite period whilst kangaroo courts are enacted? LOL, of course they won't. No, they'll probably break into the court today. John Fugelsang again. Hint: if you oppose abortion rights, which Jesus never mentioned. I don't know if I can read that with a serious face. Which, if you oppose abortion rights, which Jesus never mentioned, because you are so deeply Christian, but support the death penalty, which Jesus directly opposed. What? The rest of us are no longer obliged to take your Christianity seriously. Did Jesus oppose a death penalty? I don't know. But so you think that Jesus would say, kill that child in the womb? You're thinking that he wouldn't have opposed that? If you think he directly opposed the death penalty, no, he spared the lives of sinners, but he didn't. I don't think he imposed. Hot take, John. Stanford better. If you did not vote for Hillary Clinton because of those emails or whatever bullshit reason, the loss is on you. Hello. If we would have gotten the full story of Hillary Clinton and the whole Russia collusion story, she probably still wouldn't be president anyway. You remember? Because you guys kept talking about Russia, and she's like, you know, that little thing that they did, and they brought in some bullshit. The actual people who colluded with Russian spies to say that the other side colluded with Russia. Ooh, boy. Okay, wait a minute. The U.S. Supreme Court just stole my daughter's reproductive freedom. No. No. To all dads, brothers, partners, uncles, grandpas, friends out there, it's time to be an ally. No, she didn't. They didn't. No, your daughter can still decide when she chooses to reproduce. I'm sorry. She does. She still can. She still can decide when to reproduce. Just got to be a little more careful now. Or maybe you live. I wonder what state you live in, Nick. Nick, you work for HuffPost, so you probably live in New York or New Jersey or Maryland or some state that's going to not change their abortion laws at all. Where do you live, Nick? Or go talk to your state legislature. Again, I cannot. I don't even know who this. Let's stick with blue check marks. From the Dobbs dissent. Okay, we already have that one. After today, young women will come of age with fewer rights than their mothers, grandmothers had. The majority accomplishes that result without so much as considering how women have relied on the right to choose or what it means to take that right away. Well, maybe, just maybe, find a way to not rely on the right to choose. I'm guessing you're from New York, too. Maybe you have to choose earlier than when you need an abortion. Choose earlier. You haven't lost the right to choose. You still have bodily autonomy. Now, there are cases where, again, when the forced stuff, fuck those motherfuckers who do that shit. But still, so go lobby your state. I don't fucking care if you're mad about gas prices or your grocery basket. Dobbs is just the first step. They are coming for your contraception, gay marriage, and Brown versus Board of Education next. No, they're not. Well, first of all, we know they're not coming for Brown versus Board of Education. That's already something that was overturning something else. Y'all want to give up your right to fucking exist for $1.50 less a gallon. No. Oh, boy. This is going to be... Can pro-choice law students at American University criticize today's Dobbs decision? Students who did last month, mostly women, were charged with harassment and discrimination after a pro-life student complained. Oh, really? Okay, American University launches a bogus harassment investigation into students. 8 law students at American University are under investigation for participating in a heated back and forth following a leak of the Dobbs decision. Oh, you know what? I wonder about this. Okay, I see. I can't believe Americans are investigating us for having a frank discussion about abortion benefits. 8 law students at American University are under investigation for participating in a heated back and forth following a leak of the Dobbs versus Jackson draft opinion after another student said their pro-choice commentary harassed and discriminated against him based on his religious pro-life beliefs. Americans' disciplinary investigation stems from a class group chat in which the accused students discussed the ramifications of Justice Alito's draft majority opinion overruling Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey. This is absurd. There's nothing even approaching harassment or discrimination in the chat, said Alex Morey, an attorney at the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. American cannot let its process for investigating actual discrimination and harassment be weaponized to investigate students' opinions, but that's exactly what's happening here. Now, I agree. That is wrong, but it's a tool that's been used by the left for so long, so this person turned it back on them. Now, I don't think it's right either way, but I'll leave that article in the tabs too. I'll do a couple more, and then I got to finish up here. SCOTUS abhorrent decision on Dobbs is dangerous and unprecedented. How is it unprecedented? How is it? It wouldn't be the first ruling that the Supreme Court has overturned. Anyway, despite the fact that 2/3 of the U.S. supports Roe, SCOTUS has decided to fulfill an extreme out-of-step ideological agenda. So if 2/3 of the U.S. supports Roe, okay, then you should have plenty of luck in your state legislature to make sure that abortion is safe and legal. If 2/3 of the U.S. supports Roe, then use the political process to make it legal where you live. There you go. Ding. Nothing significant will change, reach society with Dobbs ruling. Women will still pursue higher education and jobs, and fewer will get married. And what does that have to do with anything? I'm very sad, though, for the most vulnerable women, mentally and economically, who will cruelly suffer needlessly for ultimately no reason. I thought these were few and far between. Thank you, President Trump, for Supreme Court justices. Oh, that person's going to get... Is that... Oh, it's someone named Ryan McEnany. I'm like, is that related to Kate? What's her name? Vote vets. This aggressive assault on personal privacy and reproductive freedom is an assault on the Constitution and all those who took an oath to support and defend it. Really? Show me where it is in the Constitution. It's important to defend the Constitution. Show me the money. Show me where it is in the Constitution. If you can make that argument compellingly, find another case and go back to the Supreme Court. Because I'm telling you, if it's in the Constitution, they'll be able to. That you can convince them. All right, 2 more. The U.S. Supreme Court has done its work. Women are about to be subjected to criminalization, death, erosion of their access to education, the workplace, and the ability to effectively plan our families. As a U.S. Senator, I will work to codify women's rights. Okay, that's probably part of your mission. I'm not sure. Subject to criminalization. I think most states only. I don't think women get charged for having an abortion. I don't know. I don't know what the state's laws are. This is a dark moment in our country because California refuses to go back. As Attorney General, I will use the full force of the law to protect reproductive health care for everyone who seeks it in our state. Abortion remains legally protected in California, and we'll keep fighting to expand access. Right! That's what the court said. That you should, your state can make the laws it wants. All you're doing is status quo in California. California, ladies and gentlemen, is status quo. As are many, many, many states. All right, I that's all I'm going to do today. That wasn't a very coherent show, and I'm sorry I never got the open mic open, but we'll do that another day. This weekend, Lady Boom and I are be traveling. We're going to do a little daycation thingy. We're going to go, I think we're going to Marshalltown, Iowa, which is where my grandparents lived and grew up. Both of them are from, well, my grandmother was from Albion, Iowa, but my grandfather grew up in Marshalltown, and we've never really explored the town itself, so we're going to go check out Marshalltown, and then on Sunday we're going to go to Winterset, Iowa to see the bridges of Madison County because I want to take some new video footage of those bridges. So that's my weekend. I hope you guys have some good plans. Here's what I'd like you to do, though. Before I go, hit the like button if you like what we do, because there's a couple people who haven't so far. And also, if you share the stream before, during, and after. And if you're in the watching the replay right now, put a comment in the comment section. And thank you to our many sponsors today. Busy day. It started with John. Oh, where is it? There you go. It started with Retro Veteran Gamer. Thank you for letting us know about Ro. John also, thank you. Javanus Midos. I could never figure out that one. And Ho, which I think would be John. I'm not calling you a Ho, John. And Liberal Tire. I think that person is related to Tire Alexander. Thank you, sponsors. John, aka Ho, you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Anyway, I hope you have good plans for the weekend. I'm going to, like I said, we're going to do a daycation. Daycation, all I ever wanted. Daycation, have to get away. Yes, we are doing the daycation thing this weekend. So just quick trips there and back, and we'll see how it goes. So that's it. I got to go. Thanks again. I'll have these links in the links to all the stories in the description down below during the outro. I'll let you know when I did that. So that's it. Thanks. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.